I think it naturally follows, right? Digital energy, digital property, digital money is the greatest utilitarian asset, the greatest utilitarian value, or the greatest utilitarian asset on the greatest utilitarian network in the world, in the history of the world. That means for 8 billion people, right, it offers the possibility of economic empowerment. I think if you want to give joy to 8 billion people, you need digital music. And if you want to give education or enlightenment to 8 billion people, you need digital books or digital education. And if you want to give wealth to 8 billion people, you need digital property, digital money, right? And there is no other, there's nothing else that offers that promise, right? The reason Bitcoin's powerful is because at the end of the day, you can put trillions and trillions of dollars of energy on the network, and you can distribute it over something like the Lightning Network to 8 billion mobile devices, and the mobile devices cost $50. So the ability to give economic energy to 8 billion people on a $50 device, and do it with integrity and do it with no friction, right? Like when you're moving stuff on the Lightning Network, you're moving it for 1 Satoshi. So it's friction-free, speed of light, at any scale, $37, $37,000, $37 million, you know, at any frequency, right? Like I wanna vibrate something, right? As Tesla's point about understand frequency. If I have $1 billion of gold, I put it in the vault. The frequency is like once every 10 years. That's the velocity of the money. If I have $1 billion and I put it in the fiat currency and move it over the Visa rails and the Fed wire, then it takes 1 to 2 months to move it. Every time if I make a charge transaction before final settlement, you know, it's gonna be 30 days before you know that you're not gonna get clawed back, and another 15 days or something. So 45 to 60 days after I pay you for something, you can move it. So you're talking about velocity of 6 per year, annual velocity of 6 per year. I put the same money on the Bitcoin Lightning Network, and the velocity is 6 per minute, 6 per second, 6 per hour, right? You're talking about a velocity which is orders of magnitude higher. And then of course the cost is, the Visa network is 2%, 2.5% friction. Cost to move $1 billion of transactions, $25 million. The cost to move $1 billion on the Bitcoin network, 68 cents. The cost to move that on the Lightning Network, if you break it into like 100,000 transactions, is going to be 100,000 Satoshis, right? So there's nothing comparable, right? It's a revolutionary transaction network, and it's also a revolutionary monetary network, both at the same time. It's like kind of dual revolutions. Because, you know, in one case, you can distribute economic energy to billions and billions of people, billions of times an hour, and that is something of wonder. And in the other case, you can store $1 billion of energy in a battery for 100 years and still have the energy. And we don't have any other credit or cash or asset instrument or property instrument where you could store $1 billion of economic energy for 100 years without dissipating it. It's just a question of how fast, right? In gold, you dissipate 90% of it in 100 years. In fiat, like US dollars, you dissipate 98%, 99% in 100 years. In electricity, like literal electrical energy, you dissipate 100. No one can store that much electrical energy for 100 years. You dissipate it all. It's all gone, right? We even ran into this issue with oil, like chemical energy or natural gas. They had this situation last year where they're pumping oil out of the ground and the oil price went negative. because there's nowhere to store the oil, right? Like once you run out of containers or tanks to store the oil, you got to pour it on the ground or into the ocean. You can't store it. So people, and we run the same issues with natural gas and the like. Every single form of energy or form of property is challenging to move, to store over time. And Bitcoin solves that problem. So you want to empower 8 billion people. You need a monetary network that can reach all of them at an economic cost. And I think Lightning on top of Bitcoin, and or there's other layer 3 apps, right? I mean, you can do centralized solutions like Square Cash app or something like that. And they also have exponentially decreasing transaction costs that you get by accepting counterparty risk. But if you accept a central Bitcoin bank and you make Google or Apple or Facebook or Square or PayPal that Bitcoin bank, you can still move 1 billion transactions an hour, almost frictionless. And so that Bitcoin offers the promise of monetary superconducting. Like it's like in a superconducting network, when you get the temperature to low enough level, there's no friction anymore, and you can do some pretty amazing things. That's what we have in Bitcoin. Or maybe it's like weightlessness. If I actually took you into a weightless orbit and I can all of a sudden push 1 million pounds with a finger, interesting things happen. And I think that's what we have here. It's a major breakthrough. And I think of it as, the next logical evolution of energy. Electrical energy was a big deal. When we had mechanical energy, we had to put, a mill was built around a turbine because I'm running water through the mill and every machine has to run off of that turbine. And then we got to electrical energy, and you didn't have to build it around the turbine anymore. You could spread out the plant across 18 acres because you can move electricity up and down in multiple dimensions and in space. But with digital energy, I'm not limited to a plant. I can move the energy through time and space 1 million times more efficiently. So the kinds of structures that you could build and the kind of things you could do are now exponentially more efficient.